Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Gen Well lunch hour discussion on this cold Thursday. And my name is Jaco Verscheer. I'm the director at the Potchefstroom office. And today it's my privilege to share with you a little bit of my own experience on starting your own business and just some of the things that I have learned. And you will know by now that this is quite informal. You are welcome to ask questions. There will be opportunity at the end to ask questions as well. We are also making a recording of this so that we can also share it with those that could not attend this afternoon. So without further ado, let's continue. So why is it important to look at starting an own business or a side hustle or something on the side? Well, to balance your books, if I can call it like that, you either need to save or cut your expenses, or on the other side, raise some additional income. And what's quite interesting is I was at a launch of in savings and investment monitor that was done by Old Mutual, and it was actually found that 50% of all the people that they interviewed had a side hustle or earning a second income on the side. And with younger people, those below 30, that percentage was 70%. So as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people that are earning additional income to their salary. And I hope that what we are sharing this afternoon will add value to you and will help you to make it better. And I also saw that our business coach, Johan Westhuizen, is in the room. So Johan, I know that especially the first one that I'm talking there about what your talents, strengths and weaknesses, that's a passion for you. So please feel free to jump in at any time or make a comment. So for me, the first thing that I think you need to consider is precisely this. What are your talents, your strengths and your weaknesses? What are you good with? What comes naturally that excites you, that if you do that, it doesn't make you tired? And what can you do endlessly without seeing it as work? That's the things that you will be able to do, and that will come or make it easy for you to make a success. And if you don't know, I'm going to give you some tools at the end that you can use to determine that. But ask your friends and family, what do you think I'm good at? And get some information. Most often people start businesses, or many times, that they have no support system for, and it's something new that they don't understand, and it fails. You know that more than half of all businesses fail within the first 3 years. And I think that's one of the reasons. Your second question would be, how much capital do I have available to start this business with, and how much are you prepared to lose? I've already told you that there are a lot of failures. So don't take your own and only pension fund money to start your dream business. And you certainly don't lend it to other people to do that. Look for a product or a service that nobody else can supply, or that you can supply more quickly and at a better price. If you have not done so, I would recommend that you read the book Blue Ocean Strategy. And this number 3 is precisely that. In the book, they describe the red ocean as there where everybody else is competing. It's there that you need to cut your prices until you're making no profit, that you fight for the same client, and next week is your client, and the week after they go to the new guy that's joining. So you need to go and look for a niche area where you can make a decent return supplying your product and service. And lastly, you need to know, how are you going to structure this business of yours? Are you going to start it from scratch and there's advantages and disadvantages? Are you going to buy another one? Or are you perhaps considering a franchise? So with that question, that's precisely what I want to talk a few minutes over. So let's just look at a new business. You can start that often with very little capital. So if you don't have a lot of capital, maybe that's the way to go. But the risk with that is that you have no history. You have probably very little support to start that, and it will take some time for you to get things going, to sort out teething issues, etc. But the biggest tip here is try and do a lot of the work yourself initially. That saves you cost, that saves on that starting expenses, and it helps you to understand the business much better. Another option is to buy an existing business. That can be from a small amount to quite a lot, depending on what type of business it is, how much assets it has, etc. This risk is a bit lower than starting from scratch because you have some history. You can look at the books of the business. You can just observe what's happening in the business for a month or so. Or you can go to a franchise. That can be expensive. You can easily pay a few $100,000 to a few million rands to open a franchise. With that comes a reduced risk, because most often these franchise owners or the businesses that's running them will give you a lot of support, a lot of training, but you pay for that. And it's still no guarantee that you will not fail, but your risk is a bit lower. What I would suggest, especially if you buy one or if you're going to a franchise, is to get the help of an accountant or a business coach or somebody that can help you analyze the financial statements, the prospects, etc., so that you know what you are buying. I would even go as far as to say, if you have that contracts, get a lawyer in to see that you are safeguarded, that you don't buy a shell and they take all the business and the clients with them, etc. Do that little bit of effort, spend that little bit of money to make sure. Now, you have your idea, you have decided on how you're going to structure this business. Next step I would recommend is to prepare a business plan. It's said that if you don't plan, you actually plan to fail. So take some time. Decide on a name of the business that will be descriptive of what you are doing, that will be interesting for people to do or to say. So rather not something that nobody can pronounce, something that's catchy. And then you need to decide who's going to be the capital providers or the owners. Are you going to put in the money? Are you going to borrow from somebody? Where will the money come from that you need for this business? Thirdly, write down for yourself the reasons for choosing this business. That's what you have done in the previous step. Why am I doing this business? What are my strengths? What gaps did I see for my blue ocean? Then, what's my business form? Am I going to run it in a company, a partnership, as a sole proprietor? I'm going to talk about that shortly. And then a detailed description on the product services that you are going to provide. Where are you going to find your clients, your markets? Where are you going to be located? Are you going to be on social media? So that you have a good idea of your products, clients, and where you will focus. The next part of your business plan is going to be, how are you going to sell and market your products and services? So you have, in the previous step, identified them, described them. Now you're going to say, how am I going to market this? And probably you will have to go and Google a little bit, see what other businesses are doing to market themselves that may be in the same industry. And that links to my next bullet. what are the competitors doing? Remember, we want a blue ocean, so we want to be different from the competitors. We want to do things differently or faster or cheaper than the competition. Then clients will flock to me. So what will distinguish you from the competitors? If you know what they are doing, what are you going to do different so that you can stand out? Okay, so now you've done a lot of work already. Then you prepare a budget. What's my expected income? What's my expected expenses? What equipment do I require and what will it cost? And how will I finance that? What staff will I need? And what salaries will I have to pay for them? Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you're in a business because you want to make money. And you can have the best idea under the sun. If it doesn't make money, why do it? So this portion is quite important. And if you are maybe not financially savvy, I'm sure you know somebody who can just have a little look at this, give you some ideas, some pointers, etc. And if you want financing, this is of course what those people are going to look for. And then who's going to be your advisors? Who's going to be your accountants so that they help you with the tax matters, your attorneys if there are contracts needed, and your bank account. Okay, so that's the three things that you then lastly consider. So now I have my business plan. Let's just quickly talk about which business format. Now you can go as a sole proprietor, you and yourself. Maybe you are working in a partnership with some other people, and legally that can be 2 to 20, or you may want to start a company. Now, people often think company, that's fancy, I want to go that way. But especially if you're starting from scratch and you don't have a lot of money, it's often better to go as a sole proprietor. It's cheaper, it's easier. And later on, if it's a big success, you can spend the money to have the company. So let's look at the sole proprietor. Number of owners, only you. Everything belongs to you. But the sad thing is it's also not a separate legal entity, which means you don't have to register separately for tax for the business. You pay tax in your own name. So the sad thing is it gets added to your income that you already earn. If you die, the business basically stops because you are the owner. So the pros are it's easy to set up, it's not costly. The cons, if you do go into a lot of debt in this business of yours, you do expose your personal assets. But this is the easy one to get started with. Partnership, that's the same as the sole proprietor, but you have other people that's joining you. So everything belongs to the partners. It's still not a separate legal personality. Every partner needs to be registered for tax, and there's a specific portion in your tax return where you complete your partnership details. Technically, it ceases to exist at the death of any of the partners, but with a good financial advisor, you will have something in place to deal with that. And then it's also easy to set up, not costly, but you need to have a proper partnership agreement telling you how you will operate, who contributes what will be the profit share, etc. And I always say, prepare a partnership agreement when everybody are still friendly, and they will stay friends. But the moment there's no partnership agreement and there's some queries, people tend to become very upset when money is involved. So cons, owners can be individually and mutually responsible for the liabilities when something goes wrong. So only go into partnership with people you trust and have the same values and work in the same manner than you. Then we get to the company. You can have unlimited owners, unlimited shareholders. Everything belongs to the company, so it's a separate legal entity. But that means you must adhere to the Companies Act. That means you have to be audited. That means you have to submit declarations to CIPC. That means that you have to submit a separate tax return. There's no limit to the lifespan. So the pros are it's a separate legal entity that protects your personal assets, and it can appear more professional. But there's a lot of administrative processes, and it costs you quite a bit more to run. So think carefully how you would like to structure it. Now, just a few tips from myself, and especially out of an accounting and financial management background, which is my thing. Back to what we said at the beginning, your weaknesses, strengths, talents. Stick to something you know and a business you understand. It said that somebody like, now I'm blank, Warren Buffett, for long did not invest in Microsoft because he said he didn't understand the business model. And that should be your mindset. My advice, always keep your initial capital investment as small as possible. Don't go and borrow 100,000 to 200,000 rands to start the business, because if it fails, that money is lost. Then keep your monthly fixed cost low. That's the cost you need to pay even if you don't sell anything. Rent, salaries, all of those. Try and keep that initially as low as possible, because it will take some time to get your business started. And if you have these big expenses, you use up all your capital before you're starting to make a profit. So try and keep your monthly expenses low. Don't go for the best building to hire, and don't hire all the staff that you can think of. And then also remember that you need to budget a little extra to run the business for the first few months, because you're not going to make a lot of profit from day one. It will take some time, and you will need to pay these fixed costs every month. So have a little bit of operating capital available. Next one, be professional from the start. Don't say, no, they will understand that I'm only starting, so I'm not going to be on time. I'm not going to have proper attire. I'm not going to have good equipment. I'm just doing it haphazardly. No, be professional from the start so that the people know you are serious about their business. If you don't take your business serious, they will not either. Get professional help to sort out the administrative and tax matters. Keep your business and personal financial affairs separately. Even if you're a sole proprietor, open a separate bank account for your business so that you can see what money is coming in, what money is coming out, so that you can keep your expenses separate, so that you can claim it for tax purposes. Pay your salary from the business to your personal account. Then talk to as many people as that you can trust. Even share your business plan with people you can trust that won't steal your idea. Talk to them about what they would like, what they would be willing to pay. What do they think about your ideas? Every additional person that you talk to will improve your idea. And then, very importantly, learn something new each day on your business, and especially about marketing. Having a business is being an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur means that you need to market. Even if you are not a market, even if you are an introvert, we need to learn every day about what's new in your business, in your industry, and how to market your business. So, that's my story up to now. I'm going to leave you with a few to-dos, and then I'll give you an opportunity for questions. So if you want to start your own business, or if you want to revise your plans, make a list of what you're interested in and good at. Okay? Then, if you're willing to invest about 350 rands, go to that link that I've given you, or just go and Google Gallup Building Profile 10 or Gallup BP10 and do that assessment online for your entrepreneurial talents. That will tell you what talents you have to start this business. And for those of you that attend today, you're welcome to send that to us at Genwell, and we will give you some feedback on that as well. Then talk to someone, talk to people, friends and family that you can trust. Go and prepare your business plan, and then set out some dates and goals. When are you going to do each of these steps? And I'm sure that if you take some of these things, it will improve your chances of having a successful business just so much. So, ladies and gents, that's my story, the ideas I wanted to share with you today. You're welcome to email me as well. You have our WhatsApp numbers if you have any further ideas later on. But now the floor is open for any questions. And also, Johan, if you wanted to add something, you are more than welcome. John, our director in Bloemfontein, is also here. You are also welcome.
Just from my side, Jaco, thank you very much for your inputs and helping us more on business. Just from my side, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Jaco, I've got a question for you regarding partnerships. Out of your own experience, how many partnerships from your experience do you see that is really working or not working?
Very good question, Johan. First, I must declare my bias. I'm a big fan of partnerships or working in teams with a number of people. So I'm a big fan of that. My personal experiences have always been exceptionally well because we have different talents and strengths and we complement each other, and that makes it better. And if you are in a partnership, it means that you can actually also now and again take a bit of time off, and there will be somebody around that can run the business. So my personal experience have always been very good, but I know of some horror stories. And whenever a partnership results in an horror story, from my experience, there's two things that went wrong. Number one, you go into business with people you don't know and cannot trust. And number two, they did not have a proper partnership agreement. And that is the two main reasons when a partnership turned into an horror story. Johan, I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you, Jaco. You answered my question.
Okay, last opportunity for questions.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is it Sam?
Yes.
Yes, Sam, your question.
Yes, just wanted to find out, where can one apply for funding to start a business? Let's say you want to start a business. What are the places where one can go to apply for funding to start a business?
Okay. Very good and relevant question, Sam. Funding, the research that I've seen is showing that funding is the #1 limiting factor for new businesses. Now, I don't have a list, unfortunately, for you, but there are companies like the Industrial Development Corporation. I know that there are sometimes government subsidies that are available. You can apply for banks, but they normally would like to have some collateral. What I most often say on financing, and that's what the research also show, is that often you will have to start with a little bit of your own money or gathering money in the community from your family and friends to start this off. And the reason why this or what banks, etc., are very reluctant to invest in new businesses are because of this extremely high failure rate. So they normally want to see that you can do business, that it can be a success before they put in a lot of money. So my recommendation is always, and that's why I talked about point 2 and 3. Keep your initial capital investment small so that you can take, for example, your bonus at the end of the year to start the business with. Because financing is a big problem for new businesses. And I always want to say, if you don't have the cash to start the business, probably you should reconsider, because if it fails, you still have a loan with no business.
Jaco, just from my side, I know about, you call them business partners. They're a countrywide firm as well, also provide funding, and you can, I think they request a business plan, so make sure you write a good business plan to present to them for the funding. There are certain areas, certain industries in which they are more likely now to give some funding for, because they see different needs in the market. But visit their website and approach them for that.
Thank you, John. Okay. Any further questions? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this will assist you a little bit in getting your second income going, or maybe revising what you currently do. We will upload the link as well if you want to look at the presentation again. And you are also, as always, welcome to share it as wide as you would like. So from my side, Jaco Verscheer, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I want to greet you, and thank you also for John, who did all the administration, etc. in the background. Have a lovely afternoon.